The left is doubling down on its extreme anti-Trump rhetoric. Over the last several days, they have been vocally labeling former President Trump as a, quote, fascist.
Fox News is still doing it. When Trump goes before a crowd of his supporters and he and his cuckolds spew the kind of hate we heard over the weekend, it offers Fox a chance to prove that they aren't sycophants to this diaper-clad cockwaffle's dreams of hate and death. But they went the other way.
Trump 2024 National Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joins us now. Caroline, you were there last night. What was it like backstage? What was it surrounded by 20,000 people almost as he took the stage? We're a week away.
It was amazing. The energy last night was palpable in the room. The spirit, it was happiness and joy. And it was such a diverse group of people in that stadium, packed to the house. There wasn't an empty seat. You had Black Americans, Latino Americans, Jewish Americans, men, women of all ages coming in support of President Trump and unafraid to show it, by the way, even in the streets here of very liberal New York City, which I think there's a chance of getting very red after last night. President Trump's message was optimistic.
No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. Everyone knows she is a very low IQ individual.
And I loved what Mrs. Trump said. She said New York is a city of hope and dreams. You have people bustling from office to office to make a living. And those dreams are becoming unattainable because of Democrat policies. And I think President Trump offered a real message of hope to New Yorkers and all Americans. And what an epic way to kick off the last week of the
it was
campaign.
epic. You know, the world's most famous venue. He always wanted to play it. But, you know, this morning, the mainstream media has picked up on the comics comments, which were offensive.
There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Have been denounced by the campaign and everybody else. What went on with that?
Look, it was a comedian who made a joke in poor taste. Obviously, that joke does not reflect the views of President Trump. And the crowd, they didn't mind, right? Again, it was a diverse group of people. The joke fell flat, but the crowd was there because they know who President Trump is.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Look, for starters, it's not a joke when your words only act to reinforce hate and bigotry. And don't tell me I need a sense of humor when you're spreading hate. But I will ask Fox and friends this. If the comics' words were really offensive...
But, you know, this morning, the mainstream media has picked up on the comics comments, which were offensive.
Why didn't someone come up on stage and denounce this two-bit ballless hack after his attack on a whole race of people? If it really offended them, where's the proof?
I went to a Charlie Kirk rally. Charlie Kirk is the tip of the spear for conservative young voters for Trump. And it was an absolute sea of mostly young men, but also young women, about 60-40. And just packed in a plaza. I couldn't even move through it. Red hats on every one of them. And so there is something also going on with young men that is substantial.
Send the military into these black neighborhoods, make the streets safe. They'll complain about it. It doesn't matter.
And Casey, when you think about it, in 2020, 1 in 10 voters was Gen Z. This election, it'll be 1 in 6, up to 40 million voters. So if Donald Trump wins, I think he could turn right to Charlie Kirk and say, thank you very much, Charlie.
Is all this what you think we saw on stage at the Garden last night?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, the thing that happened at the Garden, first of all, you showed Donald Trump's clip. That's not what's getting a lot of the news. He's finally getting the right message, and he's on message even if his surrogates aren't. And the key question is, you know, what showed up in, you know, actual daily newspapers in swing states. And I'm told that those Puerto Rican comments didn't really show up. If Trump's message is breaking through, that's obviously the right message. And the good news is Puerto Rico doesn't have any electoral votes.
Puerto Rico does not, but there are a lot of Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania in particular. And I will say, I think that the community takes quite a bit of pride in their heritage. I'm sure, you know, when you talk to Puerto Ricans, it comes through real fast. So I am interested to see if it starts to kind of ripple through social media. But
wow, you hear that? MAGA will say whatever they want about minorities because they can't stop their racist brigade of white boy hate. By the way, Charlie Kirk, this pimply doughboy, he's the most racist incel in Trump's gaggle of Caucasian skin tags.
And the Civil Rights Act, though, let's be clear, created a beast, and that beast has now turned into an anti-white weapon.
Yeah, and that's the reality. And so we just need to fundamentally relook at a lot of our civil rights legal regime.
Look, you can't say your leader is not a racist if all his friends are racist.
White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax.
White people are done being bullied.
Discriminating against and denigrating just denigrating white people.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
And in the world of race baiting, Fox and friends, they're fully on board.
Obviously has frustration, and I could absolutely see him go, now, you know what? It would be great to have German generals that actually do what we asked them to do, knowing that's a third, maybe not fully being cognizant of the third rail of German generals who were Nazis and whatever. But he was frustrated.
That's Brian Kilmeade defending Trump's desire for German generals. You know, the guys that murdered 6 million Jews.
Jews will not replace us! Very fine people on both sides.
Look, it's to the point where they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
But there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Now, I've heard about the joke. I haven't actually seen the joke that you mentioned, but I think that it's telling that Kamala Harris's closing message is essentially that all of Donald Trump's voters are Nazis, and you should get really pissed off about a comedian telling a joke.
What's happening here is frightening and an omen for what will happen should Trump regain power. Bezos' decision to not allow the Washington Post to opine on this dark future shows you what will happen next. Trump will assign the likes of Michael Flynn to attack any media that Trump opposes.
One thing I have been, even the enemy, because they are the enemy, what they've said, even that enemy too, and they're really the enemy. They're the enemy of the people, the press.
Flynn is a former general and ex-felon who tried to get Trump to stop the 2020 election and declare victory. You think he would hesitate to attack MSNBC? Who would stop him? These guys? And again, Trump has been saying this for years.
No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
And now in his foggy, declining cognitive state, Diaper Don will attack anything or anyone, and he's lined up followers in the House, Senate, his VP, and yes, Fox News, his loyal little army of Joseph Goebbels.
And it's all on you, Fox News. New evidence showing Rupert Murdoch, Fox News host, and executives knew Trump was knowingly lying about 2020 election fraud. But they put it on the air anyway for profits and power.
Of course, Goebbels is best known for saying, repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth. That should be on the front door of Fox News.
But I don't know, they like the fact that this is a young black woman squaring off against an old white guy. They like that she's going to all just talk about abortion. And they like the fact that she was a prosecutor and he's a felon. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse.
And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what the science says.
Science says that.
That's Jesse Waters, a Fox host who actually speaks pretty well, considering half the time he has Trump's junk in his mouth. But he's not the dangerous one, simply because of his arrogance. No, it's the Fox and Friends gaggle who chat and giggle like schoolgirls the week before prom. But here's the insanity. The Fox audience believes every word they say. They've allowed Trump's dangerous propaganda to be repeated so many times that these idiots believe every word.
You're saying that in California you can kill a newborn baby up to 4 weeks until after it's born?
Absolutely.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
That's the law in the last year or two.
That is not true. That's not true.
You need to go do your research.
Trump and Fox have convinced 70 million people who watch no other news that Putin is our friend. And the dead mothers and the children in Ukraine, they're our enemies. And that Democratic Party, well, they're behind making America, well, I'll let Fat Boy say it.
Left-wing extremists trying to erase our borders, eliminate our police, indoctrinate our children, vilify our heroes, take away our energy. You know all about that. Take away our energy, if you can believe it. No fossil fuel. Destroy our Second Amendment, attack the right to life, and replace American freedom with left-wing fascism.
You see, Trump is a malignant sociopath whose sickness has spread like a virus, infecting the vulnerable as well as a dark, angry white mob. But lurking in the shadows is the real patient zero, the instrument for this spreader event. Fox News.
Why were you against the House, against the Senate border deal, the bipartisan border deal?
But it also made it much better for the opposing side.
When Trump said that he blocked the border bill to gain political points, it was clear to every honest set of eyes what is happening. Fox News will say and do anything for money, but they will live to regret it because Trump is a psychopath and he will turn on them and then he will attack them and then they'll turn to us for help. And what will I say? What will you say?
Go f*** yourself.
Damn right.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This is not a normal election.
Who's with me?
Yes!
Tick-tock, mother...
They're eating the dogs.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Frack, frack,
Franklin.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong? Yes! Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.